World War II's brutal conflict on the Eastern Front resulted in staggering human losses, and among the most tragic stories are those of the millions of Soviet prisoners of war (POWs) captured by Nazi Germany. Despite their immense suffering and high mortality rates, the plight of Soviet POWs has often been overshadowed in popular memory by other wartime narratives. This article sheds light on the harrowing experiences of Soviet POWs in Nazi camps and why their story remains a largely forgotten tragedy. The scale of Soviet POW captures. When Nazi Germany launched Operation Barbarossa in June 1941, it rapidly advanced deep into Soviet territory, capturing vast numbers of Soviet soldiers. By the end of the war, an estimated 5.7 million Soviet soldiers had fallen into German captivity, more than any other Allied nation. Conditions in Nazi POW camps. The conditions for Soviet POWs were among the worst of the war. Deliberate neglect and brutality. The Nazi regime, fueled by ideological hatred of communism and Slavic inferiority, viewed Soviet POWs as subhuman. Unlike Western prisoners, Soviet captives were excluded from protections under the Geneva Convention. Starvation and disease. Food rations were meager or non-existent, leading to widespread starvation. Poor sanitation and overcrowding caused outbreaks of diseases like typhus and dysentery. Forced labor. Many POWs were put to work in brutal conditions in factories, mines and farms, often with no regard for their health or survival. Mass executions. The Nazis executed hundreds of thousands of Soviet POWs, particularly officers, political commissars, and those deemed undesirable. Death toll and suffering. The mortality rate for Soviet POWs was staggering, estimated at around 57%, meaning that more than half of those captured died in captivity. This death toll is among the highest of any POW group in history. Many perished within months due to starvation, exhaustion, disease, or execution. The infamous Babi Yar massacre and other mass killings are grim examples of Nazi atrocities against Soviet prisoners. Post-war fate of Soviet POWs. Survivors of Nazi camps faced further hardship after the war. Upon returning to the USSR, many were viewed with suspicion by Stalin's regime. Thousands were imprisoned, sent to the Gulag, or subjected to harsh interrogation on charges of collaboration or cowardice. This added layer of repression contributed to the historical marginalization of their suffering. Why are Soviet POWs a forgotten tragedy? Several factors contributed to the relative obscurity of Soviet POWs experiences. The focus of Allied propaganda and Western histories often highlighted Western POWs experiences. The Soviet government's secrecy and repression surrounding POW returnees suppressed open discussion. The sheer scale and horror were difficult to comprehend and integrate into the broader wartime narrative. Remembering and honoring Soviet POWs. In recent decades, efforts have been made to acknowledge and memorialize Soviet POWs. Memorials and museums in Russia and former Soviet republics have begun commemorating their suffering. Historians continue to uncover and document personal testimonies and archival records. Public awareness is slowly growing, bringing overdue recognition to these victims of war. The tragedy of Soviet POWs in Nazi camps stands as a stark reminder of the brutality of total war and ideological hatred. Their extraordinary suffering, resilience, and often tragic fates deserve a place in the collective memory of World War II. Remembering these forgotten victims honors their sacrifice and deepens our understanding of the human cost of conflict.